elections to the gala night and the closing banquet. This year's conference will be hybrid. We will be transmitting the fun and glamour and knowledge and excitement from the conference venue straight to you wherever you may be via Zoom and PharmaStream TV platforms on Facebook and YouTube. Please follow, like, and subscribe to PharmaStream TV on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. I, Taiwo Olaweyimi, will be taking you through the journey of the conference, making sure that you miss nothing. Come November, all roads lead to the Garden City. See you there. This year, as men of honor from different parts of Nigeria, we will gather in Port Harcourt to the Garden City for the mother of all conferences, the 94th Annual National Conference of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, PSN, from the 1st to the 6th of November 2021. This year's conference, with the theme, COVID-19 Lessons, Broadening and Strengthening the Pharmaceutical and Health Sector, will feature a host of value-adding activities from the opening ceremony
ALLIYU formula, a combination of premium multivitamin, prostate health, ALLIYU 50+, in addition astaxanthin and zeaxanthin for strength and immune system. ALLIYU Kids with DHA for mental development. ALLIYU Women formula with cranberry, which improves urinary health, and ALLIYU Women formula with fruits and vegetables for improved lifestyle. Nature's Field ALLIYU formula, a combination of premium multivitamin, multimineral and antioxidant. Think healthy living, take ALLIYU.
Are you into the pharmaceutical business and battling with challenges like bridging communications gap between multiple manufacturers, lack of a smart system to record customer details, or you are stuck with a traditional billing system? Do you desire to rectify messed up purchase and invoice details, or you currently face difficulties to track expired and damaged medicine? Welcome to ePharmacy Management System, the software solution to your most pressing pharmaceutical business needs. This software provides a pharmacy management system that helps you manage all pharmacy operations in a comprehensive way. Whether you have a single pharmacy or chain of stores, or even a major distributor of pharmaceutical supplies, this software helps you to automate and simplify daily tasks like drug stock management, customer management, billing, and so much more. Please call 0908-744-3938. JIYA, technology with peace of mind.
Are you having troubles falling asleep? Or you're having a difficult time staying asleep? Then what you need is the HP12 Night 4-in-1 formula. It contains zinc, hemoglobin, vitamin B12 and melatonin. The HP12 Night 4-in-1 formula boosts your immunity while you sleep, helps you fall asleep and stay asleep, builds your blood cells, keeps you energized, and reduces stress and fatigue. The HP12 Night 4-in-1 formula is marketed and distributed by Advantage Pharmaceuticals Limited.
This election go hard them. No, we lost our. Now you be this.
Yeah.
Every time before we they see you, they work out like who know well. Now just you don't take and pay.
Before, malaria they knock me basbos. And then one day I go pharmacy. I don't try 3 different malaria medicine. None work for me.
Have you tried Malact? Malact is the effective malaria medicine from May and Baker, makers of quality medicines for over 75 years. Malact contains a combination active drug called dihydroartemisinin piperacin, which keeps working in your body for up to 6 weeks, stopping the malaria parasite from knocking you down. This is why Malact is your control button against malaria.
Now 3 tablets I take every day for 3 days.
Now so Malact give malaria boy one time. Now my head be malaria. I go punch my own back.
Malact, your control button against malaria. Available in pharmacies near you.
There's something every mother has. It's something like a sixth sense. Like knowing exactly when her baby's in danger. It doesn't matter where she is or what she's doing.
Is spelled SHALINA. It's cake sensitive. So it's all in capital letters. A page with pop-outs. You fill the information required and then you click submit. Is that very simple? Are we good? It's not working. Shalina, you know Standards Organization is part of the sponsors of these events. Please do the needful or we'll send them after you. I'm sure it may be a little, friction here and there. I'll get back to them and I'm sure they are going to sort it out before we leave here. Thank you.
Due to the current times we are in, we stare at the screen all day. from the moment we wake up until the time we go to sleep. On our bed, at work, at home, in the bus and on the road, we are currently facing our screens. This can lead to blurred vision, double vision, eye discomfort, eye itching, eye redness, eye tearing, headaches, neck and shoulder pain, which can over time cause damage to the eyes. With 1 tablet a day from Nature's Field Eye Cap, eye damage can be prevented. Nature's Field Eye Cap contains zeaxanthin, lutein, bilberry, eye bright, alpha-lipoic acid and glutathione, along with other natural minerals that helps keep the eyes healthy.
I have notified
1 tablet a day
I'm
keeps the
waiting
eye
for
sharp
feedback.
and vision clear. Nature's Field Eye Cap is available online at www.naturesfieldng.com. Also in pharmacies nationwide. Our joint are involved in our daily activities, involves in movement, stability and body structure which can result in pain, stiffness and disability. A condition known as osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis contributed 20 to condition of disability which can limit or paralyze your daily activities. Do not add to the economic hardship. Improve your daily activities with Joint Renew Advanced. Joint Renew Advanced is available online and pharmacies nationwide.
We live in a world of urgency.
U.N.O, UWAGA, FPSN, FPCPHARM, FNAPHARM, FNIM, MNI. The CEO of BARATA Pharmaceuticals Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome pharmacist Dr. U.N.O UWAGA. He will be the chairman of this plenary section. Dr. UWAGA, you're welcome. The planners of this particular plenary section have carefully selected powerful political magnets, young, vibrant, ebullient, intelligent. Some of them we have listened to on one-on-one in the past. And I am sure by the time they come up, you will know why in a very important conference like the 94th conference, which is our election year, we have carefully selected these gentlemen. In no order, I'm going to take the names as it has appeared on the brochure. So please join me to welcome Honorable ENEMI ALABO George to come and take his seat on the stage. Honorable ENEMI is a member of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Let's encourage him. Please, a round of applause for him. I can bet you, those of us who didn't clap well, by the time you hear him, you will borrow hands to clap more for him. Honorable ENEMI, you're welcome. The next is Honorable Albert ATIWURCHA, Chairman, CEO, Guild Pharma Nigerian Limited. I don't know him personally. If he is around or there's a representative or he sent in his paper, please let us know. May I, at this juncture, bring up our own Senator SADIQ UMAR, member of the National Assembly. Senator SADIQ UMAR, you're welcome to your own conference. Finally, the last but not the least in any way is Mr. ALLIYU ZAKARI JIYA, Special Assistant, Special Duties, Senate President, National Assembly. I don't know if Mr. ZAKARI JIYA is here. Please, sir, step up and take your seats on stage. Let's encourage him. I now hand the microphone over to my elder brother, past president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Dr. U.N.O. UWAGA, FPSN. Oh, let me make this correction. I followed strictly what I saw on the brochure, but at least the horse is here. Let's hear from the horse's mouth. Pharmacist ZAKARI JIYA is Senior Special Assistant, Honorable Senator, Minister of Special Duties, and Intergovernmental Affairs. So let's correct that in our brochure. Thank you so much, and you're welcome. Mr. Chairman.
Well, we always believe that the president of the PSN is always present. So let me recognize him. Let me recognize his deputies, fellows all across board, different areas, and my dear colleagues. Let me say something very quickly. You may not believe it, but maybe this session is one of the most important sessions that you will have participated in this conference. So, to plead with us to please come forward. After God, after your wife and family, is not the work better than me, in the sense that they crash landed, they got up, they continued. They have been battered in the Nigerian politics, and yet they are standing enough for us to invite them this morning to come and share with us. I want to say right away, and that's why I made that statement, that if you're far off, please come nearer. It's so very important. That one of the greatest things we can do is to strengthen pharmacy practice in Nigeria or anywhere else in the world, is to bring in the power of politics, to take part in the political process, because it pays so very much, even for a profession. Politics, they say, it came from the Greek word politica, and it was mainly on how cities are organized. Today it has gone beyond that. I can say of a certain that even in the house, we play politics. The home, and the greatest politicians in the home is your wife. She knows how to manage you and get whatever she wants to, make you obey her and the children, and then she knows what to do to keep you quiet in a place and be bringing the money so that all will be well with you. The same thing in society, in our communities, and by far in the nation and all that, but by far what we are seeing here in our local elections. I came in this morning with some past presidents, and everywhere was littered with banners and flyers and take-homes and leave-behinds and all that. And I started thinking inside me and imagining that if only pharmacists can put a little bit of what they are putting into our elections, into the national election, I'm sure we won't have the senators almost as an orphan. I don't know how many of them are there, and these honorable members. Because it is there that everything in the country happens. Who gets what, who does not get. And that's why we seem to be struggling and moving uphill at a time we should be pressing our buttons. These are our buttons. You press it, you'll be in your house, and they get it done for you. So, let me not go into lecturing this morning because these people we invited are going to talk to us about it. I will say that we need to listen very well. But I'll bring something back home. Maybe we'll agree here. And let me be specific in speaking to Pharmacist Yaro Buddha, who is in charge of the past presidents in this conference. I will ask the registrar to please leave the acting chairman of the CPP so that he will listen to me, that at the end of this conference, as we are creating more committees and groups that will advocate for us, that the CPP will also be able to organize itself so that we start our advocation at the schools of pharmacy. If you ask them, and they will tell you, it's about how long you have been there, how connected you are, how much you have put in because the party recognizes you, and so on and so forth. And you don't have to do what I did by taking your hard-earned money and going into elective positions immediately. But you can be a party man. And when the goodies come out, you'll be there. You'll be recognized from your own contribution, what you have done, you'll be recognized. Because we need that much more than any other thing presently, as PSN officials will tell you as they move around. On that note, my distinguished colleagues, I think we'll go straight into this matter. It will be short and brief and to the point. But I want it to be that you will not leave this place, this particular session, the same person. You need to get your party card, you need to attend, you need to join them, you need to support them, and when they'll be sharing the goodies, you can be rest assured that it will reach you. On that note, I think we should sit down, relax, and we will start the process of going through this particular session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me just borrow your... Yes, I will send it. So, distinguished colleagues, we shall be talking about strengthening pharmacy practice through political action. And I will call the members of this panel as according to how it's been listed here. And I will start with the honorable member who is our landlord, because he's a member of the River State House of Assembly. They are supposed to be our landlord for this conference. And his office is just a walking distance down the road. So on that note, I will call Honorable ENEMI ALABO George. Let him speak to us as briefly and concise as possible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Give me my... Okay, let me first very specially welcome you to this session. You have been told, my name is ENEMI ALABO George. I'm a member of the River State House of Assembly. I chair the House Committee on Appropriations. I chair the House Committee on Information. I want to very, again, especially welcome you, and also seize this opportunity to apologize to you, to all of you. I'm aware that this event was supposed to hold at the Obiwale Cultural Center, but because of reasons beyond our control, the state had to quickly fix certain structural defects we noticed there, and it coincided with the period you were having a convention. That's why you had to come here. So let me apologize for that. Today we're talking about strengthening pharmacy practice through political action. Where is my, okay, good. Well, let me first of all appreciate the PSN and give special regards to the President and his neck, and also my elders and leaders here seated at the high table on the panel, my very senior colleague. I greet you, sir. I'm aware that protocols have been extensively observed and then courtesies extended. So I will pray your leave to leverage protocols that have been observed and courtesies that have been extended. We're talking about strengthening pharmacy practice through political action. When I got a call and I was told I was going to talk about this topic, I was a bit pleased because it's a topic I've been very passionate about over time, being a professional myself. And oftentimes I get worried about how those who are supposed to be at the helm of leadership abandon it for those people who have no business being in leadership. But again, I behaved like a student who was in an exam hall, was given a script to write an exam, forgot to look at the instructions, and then jumped through to writing the exams. And at the time he had exhausted all the question papers he had, he realized that what he did was not what he was sent to do. I like to, whenever I'm handling issues like this, dive really deep into it. But when I realized that I had just about 15 minutes to speak, I said, no, this was going to be too much. Unfortunately, I had no time to begin to restructure it. So we're going to work with what we have. But what's going to happen is I'm going to skip through the preliminary aspect of this talk. I wanted to really dive deep into pharmacy practice in Nigeria before going into strengthening the practice through political action. Because I believe that if we're talking about strengthening pharmacy practice, we should first of all strengthen it within. The Bible says that, what shall the righteous do if the foundation be destroyed? So no matter how much political action there is, if the practice and the practitioners do not fix themselves, there's hardly anything that political action can do to help. So we're going to go right onto it. Sorry, where's the console? Where's the sensor? Where's the sensor? What do I point it to? Okay, you can run, eh? Okay, let me try this. This thing is not coming on. Good. Fantastic. To begin, I borrowed a quote from John F. Kennedy. If you look at the screen, you're going to see what I have there. That political action is the highest responsibility of a citizen. Political action is the highest responsibility of every citizen. I'm going to run past that. Now, I wanted to, sorry, let me understand this. You know, we're getting old, so we're getting old. All right. Now, look at this. In my first slide, you will see what is pharmacy. And I'm sure I'm going to achieve exactly what I wanted to achieve this afternoon. Now, you're looking at this and you're asking yourself, how does a politician who has a first degree in political science, a master's degree in international relations, a master's degree in business administration, and doing a PhD in international relations, come here to explain to pharmacists what pharmacy is. So I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's not what I intended to do here. Now here I said it's irrational and condescending to define pharmacy to pharmacists. So I'm going to skip through right that. But it is, however, of essence to make pharmacists understand how ordinary people understand what pharmacy is and who or what a pharmacy is to the layman. Again, I say it's important to spell out who a pharmacist is not. Because of time, I'm going to skip that. A lot of times there's this confusion, and you see nurses being seen as pharmacists. You see people who work in dispensaries to be seen as pharmacists. Today, everybody is seen as a pharmacist. A doctor is seen as a pharmacist, a lot of people. And it's important for us to understand that a pharmacist is a pharmacist. Those people are not pharmacists. And if I want to dwell on this, it's going to take too much of our time. Again, I will beg your leave to run through this. I wanted to go through historical evolution of pharmacy in Nigeria. But again, we don't have so much time, because I wanted to go really deep. The only argument I have here is going through your anthem and something I was reading. You guys said that pharmacy, PSN, began in 1927, and I strongly disagree. Go back and fix it. Today, a lot of the things I'm going to say, you're going to like. Some I'm going to say you won't like. But fortunately, I'm in my home front. So before you know it, I've run away. You can't do anything to me. Why I say it is not possible that PSN was established in 1927 is because I'm aware that the official study of pharmacy began in the 1920s. In 1927 in Yaba, and in 1930 in Zaria, if I'm right. So how is it that PSN, people came together to form an organization as pharmacists the same year that the study of pharmacy actually began? I think you guys should research that again. Let me not bore you too much with that. But that's just to challenge you. Okay? I'm not saying myself. So let's leave historical evolution and run straight to... I also wanted to talk about the pharmacy value chain, but we don't have so much time there. So is it okay to just leave this and run forward? All in favor say aye. All against say nay. So let's just look at this pharmacy value chain. Let's leave it. Aye, but people are lucky. I wanted to deal with you today. But let's leave that value chain. I don't think we should leave this. Before going into strengthening pharmaceutical practice through political action, I wanted to talk about, do a SWOT. I spent time to do a SWOT analysis. SWOT being, thank you, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Because until we're able to discover what the issues are, we won't be able to begin to look at how to fix issues. So how do we talk about fixing issues when we don't know what the issues are? So I did a SWOT here. Strengths. 60% of pharmaceutical production in ECOWAS countries is domiciled in Nigeria. True? Is that correct? Can you hear me? Now, 60% of pharmaceutical production in the whole ECOWAS hemisphere is done in Nigeria, even though our current capacity utilization is just about 40%. Now, as a strength, we have an abundant underutilized manufacturing capacity that can be applied to manufacture new products upon demand. The market is there, but we're not meeting up with the markets. The attainment of WHO CGMP, that's current goods manufacturing practices, correct? Is that what it means? And pre-qualification status by some companies currently in progress will enable them to participate in international tenders for supplies of antiretrovirals, antimalarials, anti-TB medicines, and will thus represent a very large expansion of potential demand. Technical skills, trained manpower, and basic manufacturing infrastructure already exist with about 120 local drug manufacturing companies. Nigeria thus has the potential to become a leading manufacturer and distributor of essential medicine in sub-Saharan Africa. Weaknesses, of course, poor infrastructure, power, water, transportation, which increases cost of local medicine manufacture and distribution and constraints growth. Secondly, no Nigerian medicine manufacturer has yet attained the WHO CGMP or WHO pre-qualification status. Consequently, local firms cannot participate in international tenders for pharmaceutical supplies, and their ability to participate in the international pharmaceutical trade is limited. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this material available so anyone who is interested can go. It's really deep. I spent time to do this, but we don't have the time. So I'll just skip through it and go to why we're here today. If I see any parts that is interesting, I'll just hit on it and then exhaust what we can. This thing is plain to you. What time did I used to do all these things? Now, what is politics? Welcome to the business of the day. When our chairman was talking, it was almost as though he had read through my work. And I was really impressed. You hear politics today, politics tomorrow, politics this, politics that. Now, what is politics? For those of us who are students of political science, who are students of international relations, we have come across a lot of definitions. And I'm just going to share just a few of them with you. Politics, like the chairman said correctly, politics is derived from the Greek word polis or politica, which means or stands for city-state. David Easton, in 1953, defined politics as the authoritative allocation of values. Now look at the keywords. Authoritative allocation values. Otherwise, you want to say distribution or redistribution of values. You are not students of political science. You are pharmacists. So I will not explain too much. Anyone who don't understand, go and Google it. Harold Laswell, in 1936, defined politics as concerning who gets what, when, and how. Chairman made reference to that too. And I was wondering that this man, you leave pharmacy and you're coming to our own space. I will start going to study pharmacy too. Now, Henry Alapiki, our own, defined it as any human relationship which involves, to a significant extent, control, influence, power, or authority. Truman, in 1951, defined politics as that which concerns government or political institutions through which political life is experienced. And here you have my name, ENEMI ALABO George, with a question mark. I didn't want to write too much, that's why I put it that way. For whatever subject that I do, I like to be able to have my own definition. So when I was in the university, my lecturer asked me one day, now how will I define, I was in my first degree, how will I define politics? And I carved out my own definition. And I said it was all of those activities, all those activities that concern the acquisition, consolidation, and use of power. So no matter where you find yourself, no matter where it happens, in the family, in the company, in the corporate sector, anywhere, provided it concerns the acquisition, consolidation, and use of power, it is politics. So we jump right onto the next. Now, I borrowed this quote from Plato. Plato says that one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. When you refuse to participate in politics, you end up being governed by your inferiors. We don't have much time, so I have to run through this. I wish we had. I go right on to the next. This thing is not working now. Where is this guy? Is the battery failing or what? Okay, I'll use mine then. So next we're going to talk about having understood what politics is. It's actually political action. What is political action? Political action are actions designed to attain a purpose by the use of political power or by activity in political channels. That's according to Merriam-Webster. Then all those activities, like I said earlier, required to acquire, accumulate, or use power for purpose of achieving an aim in the interest of a person or group of persons can also be defined as political action. Next slide, please. Now, how do we strengthen pharmacy practice through political action? In very few minutes and very quick words, I'm going to discuss this. How many of you have your PSN constitution here with you? Your PSN constitution. God bless your father. How many of you have your PSN constitution? I was doing this work and I glossed through your constitution and I realized that my work was half done. If you go to your aims and objectives of your constitution, you'll find out how to strengthen pharmacy practice through political action. I'll read it for you. I have it here. Number one, under your aims and objectives, number one, you have to maintain a high standard of professional ethics in all spheres of pharmacy practice. Number two, to establish and maintain high standard of pharmacy education in Nigeria. Number three, to influence legislation for the enhancement of the image of pharmacy profession and the pharmacy practitioners. Next one, you have through monitoring policies of government which may affect pharmacy practice and the pharmacy profession and ensure that they are favorable to the profession. Next slide. Through pursuing the implementation of all laws and policies that enhance ethical pharmacy practice. Through promotion and support for reforms in health, pharmacy, and medicine laws. Through creating mentorship programs for newly qualified members for their smooth takeoff as professionals. Through doing all such other things as may be consistent with or which may be incidental to the achievement of the aims and objectives, including raising funds and owning property. Now you have this in your constitution. Give me the next slide. So, by your own selves, you answered my question. It's right there in your own constitution. But this is what I have to say to you next. Having read your constitution, I borrow from John F. Kennedy, and I say that efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. So write whatever you want to write in your constitution. If there's no purpose, if there's no direction, if there's no action, it will end up as a piece of paper. What that means is that as we live here today, go back to your constitution and begin to act the things that are written therein. Give me the next slide. Now, I'm rounding up because I had to squeeze this in. How do we strengthen pharmacy practice through political action? I say this to you. In the realm of control in the political sphere, there are three realms, or there are three actors. Where there are the political actors, there are the social actors, and there are the economic actors. As PSN, as pharmacists, where do we find ourselves? If you don't belong to the class of political actors, or the class of economic actors, or the class of social actors, then you can't influence anything. And you must be able to influence. To influence anything, you have to get involved. You must be able to participate. It is participation that begets influencing. How many politicians do we have that are pharmacists? In the local government legislature, local government council, how many pharmacists do we have? In the state legislature, how many do we have? At the federal level, how many do we have? It's when you have those people that you'll be able to reach out to them to influence policies and actions and activities of government. Now, I said here in this slide that every skill, ability you have is a potential political tool. Your pharmacy practice is a potential political tool. Imagine what will happen if the thousands or millions of pharmacists in Nigeria come together and speak one voice. Imagine what you cannot influence. Imagine if all of you come together and look, in a certain state, we want to have a governor. We want to ensure that in Sokoto State or in River State or in Zozo State, we want, even though the person is not a pharmacist, this person aligned with our principles and policies and visions. So we're going to support this person. And then you raise funds. You enter the streets, galvanize, advocacy. You begin to move. You'll be shocked the amount of crowd, the quantity of crowd that you'll be able to move. Before you know it, you have a governor. Just recently, we have the NBA conference in River State. Even those of us who are not lawyers, we were busy. Why? Because the governor of the state is a lawyer, is interested in what is going on. We are all compelled to ensure that the convention or conference was successful because he's a lawyer. Imagine if the governor was a pharmacist. So think about this. And here I say, there are three kinds of power. Potential power, power in the actual sense, and latent power. Here I say again, Potential power is having or showing the capacity to develop to something in future. Now listen to this. Actuality is the state of being in reality. So the actual power is power that you have, you know you have it, and you use it. But then again, we have latent power. Latent power is the kind of power that you have it, but either knowingly or unknowingly, you don't use it, or you don't even know you have it. It is latent power that I think the pharmacists in Nigeria have. Because they have so much power, but they don't even realize that they have so much strength and efficacy to cause political influence or to influence public policy or legislation. So, latent power, until it is realized, will remain latent power. So let's transform the latent power of PSN to actual power and use it. I said earlier, to be able to influence, you must get involved. Don't say politics is a dirty game, let's leave it for the politicians. This one, yeah, we'll keep ruling you. Yes, we like it, it's dirty, leave it for us. We like it when you think like that, because you won't come. You won't come. You keep avoiding us. And so instead of 100 people to come to the polling unit, 70 people say it is a dirty game. So they say in their houses, they are fresh, we were dirty. Then the 30 people, we can influence them. And so we win easily. Nigeria is the easiest country to win an election because of you people do not participate. An organization as yours should not just be a professional organization, but a pressure group. If properly organized, PSN can be a political bloc. PSN should encourage its members to get involved in politics. PSN should have a political strategy and political action committee at the national level, at the state level, at the local government level. Do you have a committee with the responsibility of ensuring that for every public policy that comes, PSN is interested? Do you have a committee that ensures that for the 32 members of the University House of Assembly, at least 2 or 3 or 5 are pharmacists who can be there and influence policies? Do you have a committee that follows up with the National Assembly and ensures that before we have all the members of House of Reps or Senate, at least a few pharmacists, like my senior brother here, are there? So that when there's an issue you're not comfortable with, there's somebody to call to help you press the button there. You won't be on the corridor. But it's not accident. It doesn't happen by accident. You must get involved. You must be decisive. You must be intentional. And so there has to be a team that says, okay, 2023 election is coming. How many people do we have that are interested in running? Whether they have the funds or not, you raise the funds, you back them, and you support them. And you'll be shocked what will happen in 10, 20, 30 years. Moving forward. Now, political action. There's short-term political action, there's medium-term political action, there's long-term political action. Short-term is in the immediate. What is it as an organization, politically, we want to achieve? What policies do we want to achieve in the short term? Medium term, same thing. Long term, in 20 years, 30 years, how politically viable do we want PSN to be? My guy here is standing up. I know, I'm seeing him, he's coming. Don't worry. Let me run so he will not catch me. No, let's skip this. I wanted to talk about the future of pharmacy in Nigeria, but it's not necessary. Now, take your time and look at this very well. This should be my last slide, I think. Madeleine Kunin said something that touched me really deeply. And read it and look at it. She said, like art, political action gives shape and expression to the things we fear, as well as those we do desire. It is a creative process, drawing on the power to imagine as well as the power to act. Your power to imagine has been explicitly expressed in your constitution. But what is lacking is action. Why do you wait? What is the difference between you and that man that occupies a public office? He's not as skilled as you. He's not as experienced as you. He's not as confident as you. But because of your lackluster attitude, because of your disinterest, you just believe that no. You say politics is dirty, it's not important. But politics is controlling you. It's controlling policies. It's controlling your business. It's controlling the exchange rates. You are complaining, but you refuse to get involved. You must not go and stand on the streets to shout that vote for me or vote for this. No. There are ways to participate. Through advocacy, through direct involvement. How many of you have your voter's card? Go and get your voter's card and make sure that by the time 2023 comes, the pharmacy profession is bold and loud in Nigeria. Now, in conclusion, you see he's coming, I'm running away. In conclusion, and this is my last slide, I borrowed the words of Muhammad Ali. We've come here, we've sat down, We've talked. It's so easy to talk. We've read it in our constitution. And then, by the time we go tomorrow, I beg, leave those people. They don't know what they're saying. So to respond to you, and as a response to my previous quotes, I say this to you. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have or they've been given to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. In fact, impossible is nothing. Guess what? If we rise up today as pharmacists and say that we must take our destiny by our own hands, if we say our voices must be heard, if we begin to mobilize, if we begin to engage in community action, if we begin to put ourselves together and speak as one voice from the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, from the streets and villages and communities, I tell you, in the near distant future, the voice of pharmacists will be heard. I tell you, in the near distant future, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria will be one of the most important and one of the most politically active society. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the little I have for you. May the Lord bless you. Thank you.
Honorable Judge, that's why you are where you are now. I will ask the state PSN to please invite him to one of our meetings. Charity, they say, begins at home. Thank you so very much. What you have just said corroborates what I started with. The difference is that I took off and like a Harrier jet, I crashed and I didn't quite continue. But I am back, and I believe that each and every one of us, I can boast openly that since 2004, so I have been casting the ballot. How many people can do the same here? On that note, let me call distinguished pharmacist Senator SADIQ, who has been with us here for some time. He is a modest man. He has not bought a private jet, but yet he has to be in another function in Abuja today. So let me call him to take the floor and give us his message. He's a fine gentleman, distinguished man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My fellows, senior colleagues, my colleagues, members on the panel. My topic is very simple. I'm asked to come and talk on how do we strengthen pharmacy practice via political action. Interestingly, those two topics I'm actually not very competent to talk here. When you're talking of strengthening pharmacy practice, there are enough professors here, our teachers, our senior colleagues. If you even talk of political action, there are so many distinguished pharmacists here that has been in politics for over 3 to 4 decades. But probably because of the position I am today, I'm required to come and talk. And my understanding is I'll be talking very briefly and practically. And I think that's the only value I can add here, because there's nothing I can talk about pharmacy practice or political action. Now, I have 6 slides. It's not on slide. I have it on my phone. 6 slides only. The first slide is about defining and agreeing on those concepts so that we interrogate the topic itself, so that we are on the same page, so that whatever I say under will be understood in the right context and the right perspective. So when we say strengthening pharmacy practice, what exactly do we want to do? There are a lot of textbook definitions. We've all been taught pharmacy practice. Everybody here is a professor in that, because we all must have failed courses that trace pharmacy practice. But for you to be seated here, you must have failed and finally passed. Now we are all professionals in what we need to do in our practice. But to me, when we want to strengthen pharmacy practice, what do we need to do? My understanding is we need to target 2 key primary targets for strengthening pharmacy practice, because they are the final outcome that will determine whether pharmacy practice will be strengthened or not. What are those 2? One is the patient. We have to pay attention to the patient. They are our number 1 priority. What do we have to do such that the patients we serve are very happy and satisfied. When they are the ones that will market us, support us, and strengthen us. Interestingly, I don't know whether this will be popular. The next second most important element we must face to strengthen pharmacy practice is the pharmacists themselves. We must face pharmacists. If we strengthen pharmacists, we face the patient, then pharmacy practice will be strengthened. In my next 5 slides, which I'm going to be discussing, I will tell us, in my opinion, what are those political actions required, and there are just 5 that will make us achieve this outcome, facing pharmacists and facing the patients. Next is political action. What's the meaning? My colleague has defined it. Political action are deliberately designed activities, actions that are required to achieve a purpose. In this case, what we want to achieve is to strengthen pharmacy practice. So what are those actions required also to achieve that? Now, if we agree on these key definitions, the next thing is I'm going to be rolling out the 5-point agenda as political actions required of us to achieve the strengthening of our practice. 1, we need to get involved politically, both as individuals and as a group, in occupying political space at all levels, including places of work. We have to collaborate with other professional groups. We need friends, even within the health sector. We must develop and have a strong voice that is branded, understood by all professionals, understood by other colleagues, and understood by citizens. Now, when I do say that we have to participate at all levels, what do I mean? Politics starts from our homes. It goes to our workplace. It goes to institutions. It goes to state. It goes to national level. The misconception people we have is when we say political action, you are likely thinking that it's we, the politicians, who are occupying spaces that need to take action. That's not correct. Political action is required from all of us at our various levels where we play. Two, cooperation, collaboration, and networking by all those in political space. We need to speak in one voice in line with our political action that we have defined we want to achieve. This is very difficult to achieve, but this is doable. When I say political space, I mean all spaces. Political party is a space. We need pharmacists in APC, we need pharmacists in PDP, who are stakeholders and have voice in those political parties. We need pharmacists in every institution in Nigeria where voices will be heard, where we can influence our interests. We need pharmacists in those levels. So we that are in political spaces, especially those of us in offices, be it elected or appointed, we need to synergize. We need to collaborate. We need to talk to one another. We need to be on the same page. But I'm saying it is very difficult to do, but it's achievable. Why is it difficult to do? Take, for example, in the Senate, there are 2 of us pharmacists. Of course, every morning, he is in the other party, I'm in the other party. Every morning we meet. As we are meeting, you just say, hey, my professional colleague, we shake hands. That's the moment we talk pharmacy. As he's going to sit, he has 1,000 other problems and interests pulling him apart. Number 1 priority, his bosses, his constituents, who can hire and fire him. The guys in house, we have somebody in the House of Rep. He's far away there. We have people in houses of assembly. We have people who are commissioners. We have board members. It's difficult to coordinate and organize all of us. Therefore, we need to do something different, which I think my next point will address. C, colleagues and our professional institutions must support and guide those of us in positions in line with our action through a functional platform. What do I mean? We have PSN, we have PCN, we have a lot of pharmaceutical institutions. These are the people that must support us. They must guide us. We don't know. There are a few things we can see, and it can be up to 5%. The 95% of things that need to be done for pharmacy profession, these are the people that can see. There are every other person beyond these big institutions. People working in the industry, manufacturing industry, people in the hospitals, they see some things. They know some things. We don't know. They have to find a way of guiding us, in fact, forcing us to do our job, because it's our responsibility to protect and promote pharmacy profession. It is our responsibility, and we need that guidance. Now, how do we do that? We need a platform to help that coordination. And I am aware that PSN already have a platform for legislature, politicians, where they are supposed to be guiding us. That's good. It's a starting point, but going forward, we need to energize that platform. That platform has to become bolder, has to be more engaging, has to be functional, it has to be mobile, it has to move around to see how, we can all be engaged and supported to do what we need to do for pharmacy profession. Motivation of pharmacists. Look, my professional colleagues, no matter how you want to strengthen pharmacy profession, if the pharmacist who will practice is not motivated to practice professionally, we will not achieve our goal. And to motivate a pharmacist, the starting point is self-motivation. The moment you have accepted to be a pharmacist, it's not good enough because of basic reality. It means pharmacists must be properly remunerated. Pharmacists must be given the right environment to operate. If they have that, definitely they will be happy to work professionally. And lastly,
very much, distinguished Senator. I'm so glad that the president, on the human side is omnipresent in all pharmacy gatherings. When I say omnipresent on the human side. So we are glad you're here. I want to thank you, sir. We were talking when Honorable George, ENEMI George, made his presentation. He said some of us were coming into their own area. No, we are all in that area, the space. We are looking for space to express ourselves. And I like the presentation of the distinguished senator, our dear colleague. Mr. President, I told them that maybe one of the most important sessions in this gathering is what we are doing today. And I believe so very strongly that we will create a little more time, which is not ceremonious like this, that wherever we find ourselves in the States, we'll invite those who are brave enough to have gone out there to come and ginger us up. And we will have created enough people that will participate in the political process.
Before I proceed, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things we do well in the world is to criticize, is to complain. Okay. Very often, we never give honor to whom honor is due. We don't acknowledge when people have worked hard. I want to confess to all of us here that Senator SADIQ is one-man army. We need many people in the Senate. We need many people in the House. But when you have one like this, you would think that you have 100 of them. He has been one member of the National Assembly who has worked to support PSN and support pharmacy. I'm saying it openly. I don't want him to go without saying it. He has done so much for us, especially on the two bills we have been working on. He's done so well. And I want to encourage you, sir. We'll be with you, we'll support you, and we know you'll do more. God bless you.
Sorry, no, it's okay. Okay. You permit me to stand on the established protocol. Before I continue, I'd like to situate things properly. There were some mistakes in the brochure. My name is Pharmacist ALLIYU ZAKARI JIYA, and I am an SA and a consultant to the Honorable Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs in the Presidency. That is Senator Dr. George Akume, not the Senate President. Because we in politics, if you want to know the boyfriends your mom had or the girlfriends your dad had before you were born, join politics. I don't want anybody to later come and accuse me of... Anyway, so I've been asked to talk about strengthening pharmacy practice through political action. You will permit me to be very blunt, and I'm going to say it the way it is. That's my name there. Now, before we delve into this, it is very imperative to know what politics means, what it does, and how it is used. Because when people hear the word politics, they think of partisan politics, APC, PDP, SDP, ABGA, and co. It's a contentious fact that must be accepted, because the narrative out there is that politics is a dirty game. There's violence and things like that. The opinion and perception may vary from individuals. And thirdly, it is an accepted norm through which government execute and perform its duties and responsibilities. What is politics? I took this quotation from Aristotle, a Greek philosopher, who said, man is by nature a political animal. Because if you can talk to a lady, what we call spinning or toasting, and you're able to win her over, you are a politician. In our homes, our wives are the greatest politicians because they know when to talk to you, how to talk to you, and extract what they want. He said humans have an impulse towards a partnership with others because humans cannot flourish on their own. Happiness for humans requires that they form partnership with others. And that is why for those who are single or whatever, you see them having pets, dogs, cats, just to have a relationship. Like I said earlier on, it is a contentious fact that must be accepted. The opinion and perception may vary from individuals because it could lead to positive or negative attitudinal constructs. However, whether we like it or not, government through the instrumentality of politics play a huge role in our daily lives. When you realize that your entire lifestyle is regulated by politics, you will appreciate the value of politics. From the price of salt, healthcare, price of liters of fuel, and your entire life is affected by political decisions. What is the meaning and usefulness of politics? Because we need to understand what politics is and divorce our minds from partisan politics. It's an art and science of solving problems and creating solutions that take into account varieties and shapes of opinions and interests. It's also an art and science that develop relations with expanding levels, that is, persons, family, peer group, community, state, nation, and system of nations in the Earth biosphere. Why do people participate in politics? A lot of people don't want to participate. But we must know why we should participate in politics. Joan Miller, a researcher, conducted a research on why people participate in politics and gave several reasons. But I took this one because I think it affects us more. She said, through the prospect theory, that people who feel threatened are more likely to engage in the political process by contributing money to an incure drugs, they procure medical consumables, they procure a lot of other things that are pharmaceutical in nature. But there's no pharmacists at that level. Meanwhile, there are doctors at that level. That in itself is a threat. Secondly, recently, Mr. President constituted the Health Reform Committee. Only 2 pharmacists are there, and more than 15 to 20 or 30 medical doctors. Is that not a threat in itself? Now, who represents us? You have the issue of the NDLEA. When you talk about drugs, that particular outfit is supposed to be headed by a pharmacist. Is that not a threat? But we are so docile and just watching. We need to do something. Look at the case of the debt burden. The debt burden being owed pharmaceutical companies. Let me quote our president, Mazi Samuhambua. He said the teaching hospitals are owing pharmaceutical companies more than 30 billion naira. That is what they call economic threat. Because you cannot collect my items and you refuse to pay me. We should refer back to the Procurement Act that says you must not buy unless you have available money to pay. But they're being owed. And at the end of the day, they get crippled. Look at the issue of codeine withdrawal. At the end of the day, the manufacturers of the codeine that were being withdrawn couldn't get their money on time until just last year. A lot of them were trying to go under. So with this threats, it's incumbent on us to participate in politics. Otherwise, we are going to be run over. Several acts have been amended in the National Assembly, and we know what we are doing. They are trying to pocket the pharmacy profession for us to take instruction from CISA, whatever. That's a threat. How does the political system and processes work? Who makes the laws and how do they impact on us? We must understand all these variables. Next slide. It's like this. Okay. Nigeria operates a democratic system of government in which an individual feels free to act within accepted boundaries of norms and also equal in respect of his or her rights. I can challenge about 98% of us here. Do we have Nigerian constitution in our homes? And even when we have it, do we read them to understand the value, the functions of the various tiers of government? We don't. Simply, it's a form of government, a power structure in which people govern themselves through their representatives that they elect. And that is why they call it representative democracy. If you don't get involved and get representatives, you will not have a voice. As we are today, who is our voice in the Governors Forum? Do we have any voice in the Governors Forum? But the medical doctors have, the lawyers have. They have voices there. So when issues that pertain to us get there, who stands for us? People represent themselves and take their own decisions. It is an imagination of the replica of an equalitarian society. We operate a federal system of government composed of the 3 distinct branches. The executive with the powers domiciled in the president, the legislative arm, and the Senate president, Senator Ahmed Lawal, being the chairman, and the judiciary. What is a political system? It defines the process for making official government decisions. Official government decisions. I'll give you an example. While the suppliers are being owed 30 billion, Air Peace got a tax rebate of 13 billion naira on spare parts. A rebate of 13 billion naira on aircraft spare parts. Air Peace is in the public domain. The set of formal legal institutions that constitute a government or a state, it involves to a significant extent power, rule, and authority. It is a collectivism of political institutions, example, government, associations such as PSN, political parties, and organizations performing roles based on set of norms and goals. Now, let me just briefly run over. I've given you a short background, a kind of introduction of what politics is about, how the government runs. How do we strengthen pharmacy practice through political action? Number one, lobbying. I want to acknowledge that there's no legal framework for lobbying. Senator Melaye, Dino Melaye, when he was in the Senate, tried to push the bill across, but it went into doldrum. Do we lobby? Some call it political consultants. We don't lobby. Lobbying is an attempt to influence government action through either written or oral communications to bring pressure to bear on policymakers to gain favorable outcomes. A lot of things are against us. They're against us. So, I'll give an example. Between 1999 and 2018, the pharma and healthcare companies in the United States spent well over $4.7 billion, an average of $233 million per year on lobbying in USA. They are the most powerful in USA, the healthcare and pharma industry. $414 million on contributions to presidential and congressional electoral candidates and outside spending groups. $877 million to state candidates and committees targeted at senior legislators in Congress involved in drafting healthcare laws. I know and acknowledge that in Nigerian law, corporate bodies cannot finance politics. I'm aware of that because I haven't contested for governorship twice. It was brought to my knowledge by my own legal team. But there's a way out. Others are doing it. If you think they're not doing it, that is what they are doing and getting results. World over, the pharma industry is about $2 trillion. Indian pharmaceutical industry is expected to surpass $60 billion in 2 years. However, the Nigerian pharmaceutical industry is still around $1.3 billion, importing over 900 million and producing less than 400 million of pharmaceutical products locally. I'm quoting my past president, Ahmed Yakasai. If an industry is more than 2 trillion and we still import more than 900 million and produce less than $400 million, what are we doing? Have we really sat down to evaluate what we are doing? We need to come up with what we want, approach the relevant authorities, and let them do it for us. There's what they call tax rebates. There's what they call incentives. There's what they call presidential intervention funds. Are we assessing them? Now, the next level after lobbying is political influence. There are 3 different types of influence. You have positive influence, neutral influence, and negative influence. But I'm going to dwell on positive influence. Because you can be in an office, you go through the office, but the office will not go through you. As we are today, the former chief of staff to Kogi State Governor is a pharmacist. The current chief of staff, Abdulkarim Asuku, is a pharmacist. The current chief of staff to Zulum, the governor of Borno, is a pharmacist. How have we been able to bring those influence to assist and strengthen pharmacy practice? It's not just a question of occupying political positions. Political influence is the power sought for by politically active persons like legislators, ministers, influencers, leaders, key opinion leaders, and the key decision makers. It is a means to determine or affect a favorable policy. If a policy is not favorable to you, like you have acts, you can go for amendment. You can go for amendment. As it is now, I want to recommend that NAFDAC Act should go for amendment because we've left our flanks open. What are you telling me that you must have sufficient knowledge of drugs? Why can't you say pharmacist? Meanwhile, in the Act for National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, late Oliko Renson-Kuti said they should put it inside that you must have MBBS and a medical doctor. So the one for NAFDAC is that you must have sufficient knowledge of drugs. The same thing, the Act for NDLEA and several others. We need to look at it. It is the power to make other people agree with your opinions or do what you want. Sorry, I'll soon round up. Political and social networking. Do we do political networking? I had contested for governorship twice. I was a state secretary for 8 years. But anytime you rise to say you want to contest, pharmacists that gave me 100,000, all the other pharmacists, we wish you good luck. We wish you good luck. Who? We wish you good luck. You don't get it there. Good luck doesn't get you there. You must work for it. It involves large sums of money. You must have the heart. If you don't have the heart, you can't do it. You want to eat omelette, you must break an egg. Political networks are social aggregation where citizens and politicians are connected, share and discuss ideas on political process. Professional self-improvement and development. This has been done yesterday. We should do more about clinical pharmacy and public health. Because look at the issue of drug abuse and substance misuse. It took the first lady, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, when the thing got into matrimonial homes. Wives were killing husbands, husbands were killing their wives, for her to now say, look, we must rise. And called Buba Marwa, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, a retired army officer. And they constituted a presidential committee. Why wouldn't we, the pharmacists, take it as an issue? People don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care about them. Nobody's interested in how much you know. But how do you care about me? And the thing is destroying people. Now, I give an example. Let me round up. This is to enable capacity, become versatile, multi-skilled, cross-functional in the healthcare sector and in the leadership hierarchy. Diplomacy. We are not using diplomacy. They made it yesterday and said political. The act of dealing with people with a sensitive and tactful way. There are different types. There's big stick, but I'm going to take just two. Taft diplomacy is, other words, they call it dollar diplomacy. You have public diplomacy, people diplomacy, economic diplomacy, and co. Build mutually beneficial relationship with relevant bodies. I'll give you an example of NUJ, Nigerian Union of Journalists. Each time they are talking about health matters, they don't call pharmacists to come and discuss issues of drugs. What is our relationship with the media houses, channels, and co, AIT? You don't see them there. Or they call NGOs to come and discuss the issues of drugs. So we must ensure that we have a relationship with these people and tell them what we can do and continue to do it. Who is our representative in the Governors Forum? We don't have. NBA, we need to align with them. Advocacy, mobilization, and sensitization. I'll just run through them, sir. Now, I want you to ponder. My previous speaker quoted something here. He said one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. And that is where we are today. We keep complaining. Economic problem, this and that. You that know it, why are you standing by? Come in. Then, that's by Plato. The next one is Socrates. He said the wise who refuse to rule should be prepared to suffer the rule of the idiots. And that is where we are. Finally, and in concluding, pharmacy profession can be strengthened using some political tools such as lobbying, political and social networking, political influence, diplomacy, advocacy, sensitization, and mobilization through the instrumentality of government machineries. Thank you so much for listening.
You just look quiet, but you are loaded.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Please, can we clap for them again? I saw the chairman of our Political Action Committee profusely writing and taking notes. I believe that this conference has come as a blessing to us, particularly at this time, because the political atmosphere is already charging. By January, we will have taken off properly. There's so much they have said, and it complements. But while Honorable George was trying to tell us, please come in, the pharmacist himself, who left us into politics, is telling us where we have gone wrong and we need to come on board. It is the truth of the matter. And there's something about what they are doing. Where you come, you queue up. You don't jump the, and all that. So if you don't start in time, when you come in, you will answer him, you will say, my principal. And he will expect you to be obedient to him. You must be very, very obedient, loyal, and if possible, stupidly loyal. So we thank you so very much. I believe there's so much we have learned. Your presentations will help us so much because I believe that Paul Enebeli and the PSN. Okay. Is there any lady asking a question? I like women a lot. Any lady? Okay, my brother, come. Yeah. Please, you all can come in front so that we don't look for you. Please come up here. Any lady that wants to talk? I was expecting my immediate past chairman of the Board of Fellows. If we put you in front, believe you me, we can open all doors as a lobby, which is what they were saying here. Prof, please join Paul so that we shall get more mileage in this thing. Thank you so very much.
So,
depending on the question, you can just take it.
Good evening, Mr. President and all. No, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah. Yes. Just 2 points I want to raise. One thing about politics, there are two sides to it. There is political party, that is partisan politics, and there is the other collaborative politics. We are practitioners. I've been in this since 1977, 78. And one thing I want to tell you, yes, you play politics, but make sure you are running on a goal. You want the power. You want an office. Don't play on the sideline. I give you an example. When the restructuring of Nigeria came, there was a topic on medicines, and this was discussed. No, sir. I want to give this example. It's very crucial as a learning point. The document, the presentation by RFI, the recommendations, was to remove drugs from the exclusive list to the general list. And it was presented. As a member of the SDP caucus, national caucus, I participated in the discussion of that document, and we removed that aspect and took away. But because we were there, it would have been a different take. That's why it is important we go into holding the power. Number two, one thing about political action, I want to ask the gentleman from the National Assembly. What could be a role? You run politics and you cannot speak or bring change. That will be determined by a supra power without participatory role to play. If you are a pharmacist, you are in the National Assembly.
What was that your question?
That's my question.
What's your question they are just asking me?
The question I have is particularly to my friend from the State Assembly, is that what is that importance of a politician who has been elected and is to play a role, defined role, but he doesn't have that possibility to define a role because his decisions are subject by a supra power. How can that change? Thank you.
Thank you. 1 minute.
Thank you so much. After listening to these lectures,
Please,
feel like
go straight to the question.
Going, sir.
The president is here to start the next program. Please go straight to the question.
One feel like jumping to the arena to join politics. But considering Nigeria's situation, where Godfather dictates how things goes, and maybe perchance, after winning the contest, the Godfather wants to constitute a kind of nuisance. How do you handle such a situation? Because in Nigeria today, you are asking professors to come and join politics. Yes, they want to join, but the water has been polluted by the so-called godfatherism political practice that doesn't allow good men, let me use that word, in quote, to come on board. How do you handle such a situation? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, I just want to give some piece of advice on how we can really join politics. And the first one is this. We have been saying that those who are holding political posts as pharmacists are not really doing well for us. Thank God for the exception that we have today. But one thing that I want us to do as pharmacists is when we see pharmacists in position of leadership, the first thing, like the doctors do, is to give them reception. Call them, host them, publicize them, celebrate them. In that case, they will know they have a stake. And therefore, they'll be able to help when there is need. That's number one. Number two, as pharmacists, our leaving this conference, we have to go to our various wards. Know what is happening in your wards. There are little meetings going on around the villages. Sponsor meetings. You don't have to really have millions before you can join politics. And that's number one. Then the last one, my own experience in Ekiti State, when the drug management law was being, prepared. Some of us were members of the drafting committee, the bill drafting committee. We did a very good job. We have pharmacists in the bill, in the committee. The thing was submitted to the Ministry of Justice, but from there, things started happening because we were not there. Before it now went to the governor for assent. Unless you are there, the time has really gone. When you say we should be in the corridor of power, we have to be in the boardroom of decision making. And that's the only way we can triumph. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My own issue is that how can we strengthen pharmacists in politics? Why in pharmacy schools, our lecturers doesn't encourage our young ones to practice politics? In College of Medicine, where I passed through in University of Lagos, you see the level of political activity going on under COMSA, that's College of Medical Students Association. And when it attends to pharmacists, you find out that most of the people that participate in PANS or what we call Student Union Executive, see them failing courses. When they go out for functions outside their institution, that's when their lecturers will schedule for in-courses and they will not do well. As how do you want to strengthen us? By making us not to start well in a lower background. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. He actually spoke on the point I want to talk about. Can the system in pharmacy school be adjusted such that right from school, we are encouraged to participate in politics? Because if you say, when we come out, I'm a young pharmacist and I'm advocating for YPG here. Even from school, once some lecturers say you want to contest for politics, they will reduce your morale. Imagine them telling you you will fail if you keep doing this thing. Instead of discouraging us, why not encourage us to merge the two together? And then by the time we come out, it becomes easier to integrate into the political space outside school, which is actually a good one for the profession. Thank you.
I just want to encourage us. We have heard. What I have noticed is that the few pharmacists that have come out for political positions, pharmacists don't support them. If there is love in this profession, then we need to support each other. What we hear is that, go and look at his pharmacy. Has he made a success of his pharmacy first? Now he wants to contest for president or this. Let us support one another. Let there be love in this society. There is too much division. Let us be united and support each other, and the profession will do well. That is my submission.
The president and the chairman of the occasion.
I can only permit the chairman, the immediate past chairman, and the trainer of pharmacists in Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Because she's joining the political train also.
Thank you very much.
And that will be the last, please. That will be the last.
President, I listened to one of the people that said the universities, they don't encourage. I agree up to a certain extent. Most of our lecturers, you know, when the students are having functions or they are representing us or they are going for PAN's national conference, that's when they fix tests in courses. But that is the problem of the deans. When there is a national convention like that, the deans must make a pronouncement that these students are going, there should be no in-course, there should be nothing, and protect the students and the delegates that go. I am separate, I am different. When I was a dean at Olabisi Onabanjo University, we, Shofoyeku, became the president of the student union, unheard of. We won it, you know, because we strategized. I strategized with them, and we won. And why we won? The female pharmacy student won in University of Benin at the same time. And immediately after us, the medical students now came and said they want to become president as well. How do we do it? We had to strategize with them so that the students' union remained in Shagamu campus for 2 terms, you know. So I think we must encourage our students to take part in politics, no matter what. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I will now allow our distinguished colleagues here to please respond to a couple of these.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, let me start. The first one from my senior pharmacist, Hashim. I didn't get him well, but he said not elected politicians, things like that. Somebody asked a question talking about jumping into the arena and godfatherism, refusing them. Let me tell you something. If you want to join politics today, don't go through the top. Go back to your ward. Go back to your ward. You have a ward chairman. Start discussing with him. Your ward is some few meters from your house. Start from there. So if you go to the top, that is when you start talking about godfatherism. I started from MDD, that is Movement for Defense of Democracy, to MRD, Movement for Restoration of Democracy, to MRDD, to ACD, to AC, to ACN, and today we are in APC. It's not a mean journey. So don't go through the top, through the roof. Go through the staircase and you get there. People talked about the schools not encouraging them to join politics. My leader is here. We call it leader. Budayaro. I was a Secretary General of PANS in ABU. That is where I started from. And thankfully, I was able to scale through. Barrister Fashola, the current Minister of Works, and I quote, said, if you know you cannot stand the stench coming out from the kitchen, do not enter the kitchen. You know yourself. If your brain, your mental acuity can take it, your academics as well as your political activities, you get in. Anyway, the other ones were comments. Pharmacy don't support themselves, support and they should be united. Of course, I talked about it. We need to support each other and be united so that we can grow the profession beyond making just money. Because this profession has given us the template, the foundation to make money. And we will not allow the profession to die. We should grow it beyond where we meet it. And that is the more reason why we need to strengthen, advance, improve upon the profession. I don't know if, okay. Somebody talked about reception. It's not about reception. You don't need a reception. Go to the ward. You'll be accepted there. By force.
All right, so I'm going to quickly respond to this, right? I didn't quite get the first question clearly, maybe because of the speakers or something. But I got the second one, who said that godfathers have polluted politics and you want to do something to suppress it. My brother, I'm going to say this to you. They say a bad workman quarrels with his tools. There is, forget godfathers. The godfathers, they don't do the work now. It's foot soldiers that do the work. If you begin to, there are enough excuses not to get involved. I tell you about myself. I was a banker. A banker, for God knows how long. I worked with Zenith Bank. I moved to Fidelity Bank. I ran for office from Fidelity Bank in 2014. That was when I left banking. I came in fresh. They told me, you, as you are like this, you think it's a way fine suit, they will kill you. This one I said, let me go and die. Am I dead? I'm doing my second term in the House of Assembly. They are begging me to go back to the House of Assembly. I said, I'm not doing it again. Do you understand? That's one. So don't let that discourage you. Even assuming there was a Godfather, if you demonstrate capacity, the Godfather will say, no, this one is someone I can work with. They need people who will do the job for them. That's one. Number two, you spoke about politics in school, how you're not allowed. I think that's very bad. If you look at remote causes of where we are now, I think that should explain it. Young people should be allowed. As a student, I was involved in student union politics. Faculty level, I went to school level. It never affected my academics. Let me not say the best. I was among the best in my class. I graduated top of my class. My MSc, my 2 MScs, my PhD, same. Politics is not affected. So you should allow these young people to participate. That's where they discover themselves. That's why even when I left school, I did my youth service in the Bayelsa State House of Assembly. I left there, started working with Zenith Bank in the public sector team because of my love for politics, because I wanted to be working with government. I was managing government accounts. And that's where the network began. That's where I grew the interest. The last person said that, Madam said that you should support your candidates, or when your people win, hold receptions and all of that. Fantastic. Oh, no, it wasn't her, it's the other guy that said it. Fantastic idea. I'll give you a story. Let me tell you why I'm here. I'm not a pharmacist. By education, I read political science, first degree, first master's degree, master's business administration, master's in international relations, PhD international relations. I'm not done with that yet. So sometimes you may wonder, what was he doing here? Okay, maybe because it's in politics. Because I am very close to the state branch of PSN. In 2016, I thought that, look, professionals were staying out of politics. So I floated a group that would encourage professionals to get involved. We call it the Rivers Professionals Group. The pharmacists in Rivers State chapter were amongst the most active. And so we became friends, and I became like their own in the House of Assembly. So whenever there's an issue that pertains to them, I take it like my own, because they came out in mass, they were actively involved, the governor was aware of them, and that was why they could call me and say, look, they were supposed to see the governor, and they've not been able to. I've been disturbing the man's life till yesterday night when he came back to Port Harcourt. Because they have demonstrated interest. They have paid their dues. Now, it's their right. That's why they can call me that, look, you are speaking at our event. And we had PDP convention last week. I came back into this town the day before yesterday. I did a 26 slides presentation. When did I prepare it? Because it was important to me, because I've worked with them. I see them as my own. So when they say, when your people get into office, pharmacists, receive them and show them that sense of belonging. That's the only time you can ask. You give first. When you hear they are running, everything is a risk. They may win, they may lose. And in politics, there's nothing like loss. You run today, you lose. You have already become a stakeholder. Tomorrow they'll call you, sorry, you lost last time. Come and take this one. So there's nothing like loss in politics. So get involved. Support them. If you're a pharmacist is running, call him. Oh boy, see, we don't have anything. You see what at your chapter we have contributed. Let's do posters for you. How much is posters? When he emerges, you will remind him that, look, remember that we did posters for you. See this bill we want. Support it. Okay? And then when the other speaker was speaking, he made a very sensitive comment. And I will say it here. There is no reason, and I support it, that the head of NAFDAC should not be a pharmacist. That should not be accepted at all. If you want to accept it, it's your business. But I'm telling you that it's unthinkable that NAFDAC is about drugs. The only people that know about drugs the most...
January, a report of what has happened. So it's possible. No, you see, people can change name. It's allowed. And it's a continuum. It's a continuum. And Yaba started training in whatever year may not be very important, because they must have been training somewhere else. I have it. No, we will invite you when it will be presented. It's a work in progress. Thank you.
Once again, I have the protection of my president and permission to discuss this with you. I co-chaired the VIP session, VIP dinner with him where we talked about the issue of the pharmacy house. The pharmacy house is going to be our heritage, our powerhouse, our command control center, and we must invest to ensure that that particular project come to fruition. Having done some calculations, we are looking for about 2 billion investments in debenture. So we are thinking that if we can get 4,000 pharmacists to invest a minimum of 400,000 over a period of 6 months, we'll get there. And it must not be in block. If you have 50,000, you push it forward. You have 100,000, you push it forward, so that the work will not stop. It will continue. So I want us to employ all of us to make sure that we do that. We can try our best. We know times are hard, but it's a project that at the end of the day, we are going to be very proud of. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. How many of us have logged onto the Wi-Fi of Shalina? How many persons are using the free Wi-Fi here now? Because I've been told that some people have connected. I'm connected, good. So it's working. Just go through the 5-step process. If you've tried before and you couldn't log in, don't try to register again. Just go into login and use your phone number as your ID and use Shalina in capital letters as the password, and you'll be connected. Thank you. We have some lost but found items. We have an ATM card. If you're looking for your ATM card, please come to the left-hand side where the compares are seated and pick it up. Then we have 2 name tags. This belongs to OK, Sunday, Thomas, Lagos. Without this, you wouldn't be able to vote or do some other things at this conference. So please pick it up. The next one is Okonji Teresa, Kemakolam, Lagos, also. Mr. President, I crave your indulgence to allow us 10 minutes to have a presentation that wasn't properly communicated yesterday by Vita Biotics in 10 minutes. Then we will yield the floor to you for the town hall meeting, sir. Thank you very much. Your time starts now. You have 10 minutes. This is 4:14.
Thank you very much. Media people, please. Good evening, distinguished men of honor, all the dignitaries here present. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Paul Ngolube, and today I'll be briefly talking about preventing cardiovascular diseases through self-monitoring. Okay, cardiovascular diseases, as we know, are the major or the leading cause of death globally. It will interest you to know that an estimated 17.9 million people die yearly from cardiovascular diseases. Yes, it's that serious. Accounting for 32% of all death globally. Okay. Out of the 17 million people who die from non-communicable diseases, 38% of them are due to CVDs. Because of this, the United Kingdom, through the NHS, has budgeted over 220,000 blood pressure monitors to be able to arrest 2,200 heart attacks and 3,300 strokes in the next 5 years. Out of that 22,200 blood pressure monitors to be given, they've been able to give 65,000 of it. So that goes a long way to tell us that we have to monitor
our blood pressure as frequently as possible. Because of this, more frequent education regarding the use of home blood pressure monitor has to be incorporated to the general public. As we, pharmacists frontline, being able to interact with our clients as well as patients, we can always educate them on the need of home blood pressure monitoring. Most of us, we are all aware of the management of hypertension, which include exercise, dieting, and what have you, but we are more concerned about the use of home blood pressure monitor. Regular blood pressure check is very paramount. The European Society of Hypertension and the British Hypertension Society, which are regarded as the two most authoritative societies, have stated guidelines for the use of home blood pressure monitors. Some of the advantages are you can check your blood pressure during the day, weeks, months, what have you, and the readings can be easily obtained. It has actually been recognized and accepted by physicians as an effective healthcare plan. Home blood pressure monitor helps to prevent the issues arising from white coat hypertension as well as mask hypertension. Home blood pressure monitors also help to prevent and also arrest those who have high risk of coming down with hypertension, such as obese patients. And also, use of home blood pressure monitor helps to effectively monitor the use of antihypertensive to monitor if the therapies are actually effective or not. Some of the features of an ideal blood pressure monitor. An ideal blood pressure monitor must be accurate and precise, which is the most important of it all. It must be reliable, durable, made of advanced technology, but yet easy to use. And also, it must be clinically validated. Our brand, known as the A&D. A&D simply means analog and digital. We knew back in the days, the analog fig are actually being used to check the blood pressure monitors, and we know they are very accurate and precise. But because of the drawback associated with errors due to parallax, not being able to get the readings before and after, that's why we are coming in as A&D, which means analog to digital and digital to analog is our core conversion. So we've incorporated the principle of the analog fig into the digitalized system, which makes it very easy for accuracy. And as the A&D brand, we are the only brand in the market that has a 5-year warranty. No other brand can offer you that. The product is cost-effective with improved function. So I would like to say something very important. We are advancing towards the end of the year. And during this festivity period, we love to exchange gifts, be it hampers or what have you. So I'm appealing to we all as pharmacists and as men of honor, when giving out a hamper, you can swear rather than fill it up with groceries and toiletries and so on. You can actually include a blood pressure monitor. We've heard of the statistics of how the prevalence of cardiovascular disease is on the high rise. And this has been shown that middle and low income countries like Nigerians are actually on the high rise of coming down with cardiovascular diseases. So when we are preparing for this festivity, we should try as much as possible to include blood pressure monitors. To whoever you are giving it to, the person is going to find it of more value than just putting in groceries, wines, and what have you. So our own brand of BP monitor, known as the A&D, has the WHO indicator, which helps to indicate if your blood pressure is normal, if it's high normal, that means moving towards borderline, or you're beginning to experience those stages of the mild hypertension, moderate, or severe hypertension. All our brands have the atrial fibrillation technology, which helps to not just track your record, but also monitor the activity of the heart. As we know that atrial fibrillation has to do with when the chambers of the heartbeat out of coordination. So the A&D device confers that technology, which helps to monitor the activity of your heart. So briefly, I will just talk about our cardioads, which is in synergy with our A&D blood pressure because we are trying to promote heart health. The cardioads is a brand from Vital Biotics, which has been clinically tested by experts as a comprehensive formula which helps to maintain heart health, improve circulation, and also helps to regulate cholesterol levels. It contains over 20 nutrients of benefits. The cardioads is devoid of garlic taste. It has been masked with orange flavor to help prevent the aftertaste associated with garlic. And we know garlic is very important for improving heart circulation. The cardioads also contains omega-3 fatty acid as well as omega-3 and 6 fatty acid, which are naturally sourced from flaxseed oil. Our cardioads has been shown to effectively improve or actually act as an adjunct to other ethical medicine when it comes to the treatment of hypertension and other cardiovascular diseases. It contains vitamins such as B1, B6, B12, folic acid, magnesium, and so on. So finally, CVDs, like I said earlier, causes 32% of death globally. Through a healthy lifestyle, self-monitoring, and early detection through the use of an ideal blood pressure monitor, and the use of an effective nutritional supplement such as cardioads, we can actually change the scary image associated with CVDs. Thank you very much. Sorry, I want to find out if I have any questions. Any questions, please? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Vital Biotics again. Mr. President, we're ready for the town hall meeting. Mr. Tony from the Secretariat, can we have more seats up here? Tony? More seats. Okay, we're not coming up. It's NEC not coming up for the town hall meeting. No, it's only the president.
Maybe two past president.
Okay.
Join him.
Okay, so I will call him up.
Yes. And register.
Okay. For the town hall meeting, I respectfully ask that the president of the PSN, pharmacist Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa, OFR FPSN, steps up the stage to take his seat. Let's encourage the president of the PSN. Please, I would ask that the IPP, the immediate past president of the PSN, who will be expiring in the next, maybe, is it up to 48 hours? Pharmacist Ahmed Diakasai steps up to support Mr. President. Because I know I am not preempting anything in this meeting, but I know it's difficult that most of the arrows will not go to the direction where we will need the key regulator of the pharmacy profession to maybe assuage some of the bullets that may come. So I would ask that Dr. N.A.E. Mohammed steps up to support the president, to form a shield. Let's encourage him, our double prophet. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I yield the podium.
Good afternoon, or rather good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Sorry we're a little bit late, but all of you will agree that the session on politics is necessary, and that's part of the new direction we should be focusing ourselves. We can talk about all the science and all about medicine, but if there's no political leverage or power, all the work we have done will not only be underreported, it will be underrewarded and undervalued. So I'm glad we had that session and everybody participated. We're going to the town hall meeting, and the essence of town hall meeting is to give us, members of PSN, to ask questions, to make contributions to the affairs of the society. At the AGM tomorrow, we won't have enough time